The majority of Catholics today belong to the Roman Rite, meaning their spiritual disciplines and worship customs are connected with the Latin tradition of Rome, home to the chair of St. Peter. But Christians in the West sometimes forget that the heritage of faith, transmitted from Christ to his apostles, and preserved by the Spirit down to our own day, has always been expressed in various local forms and cultures under the guidance of regional bishops. Today, this diversity found all around the world not only includes the Roman Church and smaller Latin rites, but also 23 autonomous Eastern Catholic hierarchies in full communion with Rome. These churches, which sprung from the Holy Land or near it, make the news today because of the extreme persecution they often have to endure. And in the first millennium, they were the largest branches, hosting all the ecumenical councils which gave us the ancient creeds of the Catholic faith. So to clear up any confusion about what it means to be fully Catholic and united to the Pope, yet not Roman, here are 4 misconceptions Western folk usually have about the Catholic East. Number 4. Eastern rites are the outgrowth of Latin Catholicism planted in an ethnic culture. While it's true that many Eastern rites are connected to an ethnicity or a particular geography like Greece or the Middle East, this doesn't mean that they're the result of an experiment to accommodate Latin Catholicism in those cultures. The Eastern churches exist because they were planted by the apostles in the first century, and over time absorbed and purified the cultures they took root in. Just read Acts of the Apostles and you'll understand how the church in Jerusalem branched out to places like Antioch, Alexandria, and Byzantium, which then became major centers of Christendom by the 4th century. For example, St. Peter was bishop of Antioch before relocating to Rome, but other apostles such as St. Matthew and St. Thomas also helped to spread the Aramaic tradition of Antioch, with Thomas bringing his episcopal chair in Syriac liturgy all the way into India. Today in India, the Syro-Malabar and the Syro-Malankara Catholic churches trace their apostolic succession back to him. Pope St. John Paul II described, "The Eastern Catholic churches, together with the other churches of the East, are living witnesses of the traditions that date back through the Fathers to the Apostles. Their tradition is part of the divinely revealed heritage of the Universal Church." Number 3. The West is Latin, but the Eastern Church is Byzantine. This statement would be similar to a U.S. citizen describing his country as consisting of California and New York, and no other states. The 14 Byzantine Catholic churches together constitute the largest Eastern branch, and in ancient times, the Byzantine Empire centered in Constantinople expanded and exerted influence not only on other Eastern churches but Rome as well. But the diversity of the East, like the many colors of a stained glass window, is more complex. To simplify, the 23 self-governing churches today can be grouped into 5 non-Latin Catholic families: the Byzantine, centered in former Constantinople, the West Syriac from Antioch, the East Syriac or Chaldean from Antioch, the Armenian, and the Alexandrian. 6 particular mother churches within these families are highly organized and are led by patriarchs and synods united to the Pope. The Second Vatican Council proclaimed, "The Council solemnly declares that the churches of the East, as much as those of the West, have a full right and are duty-bound to rule themselves, each in accordance with its own established disciplines." Number 2. Eastern Catholics were formerly Orthodox. This is true for most Eastern Catholics, but not all. There were 3 lasting schisms in history that produced 3 non-Catholic Eastern groups, which still exist today and who possess 7 valid sacraments. The Assyrian Church of the East, which traces to the year 431, the Oriental Orthodox, who trace back to 451, and the larger Eastern Orthodox, who trace back to 1054. Over time, parts of every Orthodox church came back into full communion with Rome. But 2 Eastern churches never separated from Catholic unity: the Italo-Albanian Byzantine Catholic Church of Sicily and southern Italy, and the Maronite Church from Antioch, which has spread across the globe from Lebanon. For this reason, neither Eastern Rite has an equivalent Orthodox sister church. This unbroken fidelity is expressed in Maronite liturgy on the feast of Saints Peter and Paul. Our faith is the faith of Peter. The faith of Peter is our faith. Number 1. The Roman Rite is superior to Eastern rites. Unfortunately, there were times in history when Western clergy tried to impose Latin customs on the East, something which recent popes have condemned and made amends for. The Catechism referencing the Second Vatican Council makes clear, in faithful obedience to tradition, the Sacred Council declares that Holy Mother Church holds all lawfully recognized rites to be of equal right and dignity, and that she wishes to preserve them in the future and to foster them in every way. None of them is superior to the others as regards rite. The word rite means ritual, and in a narrow sense, refers to the liturgical, spiritual, theological, and canonical riches of each particular Catholic church. Eastern Catholic canon law affirms that the Bishop of Rome has supreme, full, immediate, and universal authority in the whole Catholic Church. But this doesn't mean that the Latin-derived customs and disciplines, which have varied over time and place, even in the West, are better suited than Eastern ones to express the mysteries of the Holy Catholic faith. In fact, in the first few centuries, the liturgy of Rome was similar to that of the East, in that it used Greek language and leavened bread for the Eucharist. Knowledge of the treasures of the Catholic East hopefully offer a teachable moment for all Christians. For Orthodox brothers and sisters, the Catholic East should show that universal communion with Rome is possible without compromising the uniqueness of their apostolic roots. For Protestant and evangelical brothers and sisters, the Catholic East hopefully shows that wherever the apostles planted churches, what grew was a sacramental and liturgical church centered on the Eucharist. And for Catholics of all rites, we can recognize that the supernatural mark of unity does not mean uniformity in every custom, but that many different organs and cells come together to form the one mystical body of Christ, united in common creed, life, and worship, and like the Trinity, united above all in charity.